Chapter 36. The Man in the White Shirt. 7:12 p.m. The man in the white shirt picked up his pace and he saw the bus line at the commuter lot, engines idling at a low rumble. He walked down the row until he found one that he was looking for. Jersey City. Home. But as the doors to the bus hissed open, the man in the white shirt held back. Next to the parking lot stood a payphone with 20 people waiting to use it. He had been trying to call home all day, but hadn't been able to get through. He was anxious to reach his family and let them know he was okay. Passengers jostled past him and climbed onto the bus, eager to get home. The man in the white shirt stood alone. He stood there. He'd been moving all day on the road, never stopping. Now he was paralyzed, unable to make up his mind. "You coming?" the bus driver asked sharply. He sounded impatient and tired. It had been a long day for him, too. The man in the white shirt looked from the bus to the payphone. "On or off, Mac, I ain't got all night." The man in the white shirt made up his mind. He headed for the phone. There would be more buses. "Stop the bus!" The man in the white shirt saw an older, heavy-set woman limping towards him, waving her arms like a broken windmill. He turned and sprinted after the bus, which had just edged away from the curb. He caught up with it and smacked his palm on the door. The bus jerked to a halt. The door flung open, nearly hitting him in the face. "Wait," he told the bus driver. The bus driver scolded, but he waited. "Thank you," the limping woman gasped, out of breath, as the man in the white shirt boosted her to the bus steps and helped her down the aisle to the empty row. The instant she was settled, the bus lurched and pulled away. The man in the white shirt staggered to the tunnel and turned to glare at the driver, who shot him a challenging look from the mirror. The man in the white shirt felt blood rise to his face. After all he had been through, why should he have to put up with this jerk? But then he took a deep breath, exhaled, and settled into an empty row. He kept it together this far. No reason to lose it now. The phone call would have to wait. He sat back and closed his eyes and let the bus carry him south. Chapter 37. Sunshine. 7:12 p.m. The sun was going down as Alex turned the corner onto his block. By the time he had reached the front door, his legs were quivering and his arms were about to fall off. Nunu had completely run out of steam and half a block from the bus stop, so Alex carried her the rest of the way home. With his backpack on his back and Nunu in his arms in front like a papoose, he looked like an apple with legs. Radar trotted, and beside them, carrying Nunu's backpack, the handle clenched in his teeth, always careful to keep his head up so he wouldn't scrape the ground. As Alex fished in his pocket for his key, he noticed that the little details around the porch, the broken front step where he'd fallen and knocked out his first baby tooth, the loose rail Nunu loved to climb, jump onto her daddy's arms, the bush in the front where he and Dougie and Quan had piled up used Christmas trees last winter and made a fort. He noticed the peeling paint on the shutters that his dad had repainted just last year, and the brown stain in the driveway where his mom had tried to refinish an old table. He took it all in. The big elm tree and the dying rose bush and the fresh mowed lawn and the missing shingle by the chimney and the darkened window and the warm glow of the porch light. Felt good to be home. Nunu rose as she lowered her to the ground. She rubbed her eyes with one hand and her nose with the other. Alex eased the front door open. Inside, the house was dark. "Anybody home?" he called out. "Silence," he answered back. Nunu took her backpack from Radar and dropped it in the front hall. "Where's Mommy and Daddy?" she asked. "Not home yet." Alex was halfway to the bathroom when he realized that Radar hadn't followed them inside. The dog hung back on the porch, skittish, unsure of himself. He keeps approaching the doorway and then jumping back. Alex waves him in. Come on, boy, that's it. Radar whimpered and paced back and forth, but wouldn't come in. Nunu reappeared. What's the matter with him? Alex thought about the house that Radar had come from. What was left of it. No wonder the dog didn't trust houses. He's just a little scared, said Alex. There's nothing to be scared of, Radar, Nunu said, as she walked onto the porch and put her hands on his butt and gave him a great big push. Radar shot through the door and skidded across the floor. While he scrambled to get his footing, Alex quickly shut the door behind Nunu, so he couldn't run away. Radar stood stock still, nose twitching as he sniffed the air. What do you think? Asked Alex. Radar gave one loud bark of approval and whacked the wall 3 times with his tail, then bolted straight for the living room, smiling, sniffing everything he passed on the way. I think he likes it, Nunu smiled. Alex made a little beeline for a bathroom because, well, they'd been gone a really long time. When he came back, Radar had made himself right at home and was stretched out the big lounge chair in the living room. Hey, that's my dad's chair. Out! Alex motioned for Radar to move. The dog climbed up over the arm and dropped onto the couch. Nunu flopped down next to him and reached for the remote. Alex realized what would be on every channel that night, and he stepped quickly in front of the TV. Chores, Nunu. I'm tired. You know the rules. Chores before dinner. Nunu groaned and slid off on the sofa. Who's gonna cook dinner? She asked, shuffling off to the kitchen. Alex hadn't thought of that. He looked, and he headed to the kitchen after her. Behind him, Radar sat up, waiting until the coast was clear, and then climbed across the arm of the sofa and straight onto the back of the big comfy chair. Alex's mom kept a tiny TV in the kitchen counter next to the stove. Alex waited as Nunu pulled an empty garbage bag from under the sink and headed back to the bedrooms to collect the trash. Then he flicked on the TV to catch the latest news on the disaster, keeping his eye on the hot dogs that he was frying, and one eye out for Nunu. But the stations didn't have much to report, and was watching the towers fall again and again, and wasn't making him feel any better. So he turned it off. Suddenly, Alex heard voices from the other room. He dropped the pan with a clang and went sprinting to the living room. But it was only the TV. Radar had stepped on the remote, and Alex flicked off the TV, then motioned to Radar to vacate his dad's lounge chair. Radar, out! Radar tucked his tail and slipped off the chair. Alex tugged him back to the neck of the other side of the room and settled him to the corner. Then he headed back to the finished TV. Radar followed him with eyes all the way to the door. Back in the kitchen, Alex found a bowl of instant macaroni and cheese and tried to follow the recipe on the back. When everything in the pot turned safety vest orange, he figured that he had done right. Satisfied, he licked the extra cheese dust out of the creases in the packet. While he was cooking, the phone rang. Alex snatched it up quickly. Hello? Hey, Alex. Hey, Dougie. Alex tried to hide his disappointment. What's up? Quan and me, Doug's voice trailed off. He got a running start and tried again. Sorry we ditched you. You had to. It was Jordan. Every man for himself. Nah, that wasn't cool, said Dougie, sounding relieved. Don't worry about it. You guys get away, okay? Yeah, but what happened? Radar! Oh, that's my dog's name, by the way. Awesome name. Jordan was about to pulverize me when Radar snuck up behind him and growled, "No way, you should have seen the look on Jordan's face." "I can't believe I missed it. I have no life." Radar was a total hero. He chased them all the way to the park. They were screaming like babies the whole time. "Did he bite him? Please tell me there was blood." "Tore off his back pocket off." "Epic." The boys both laughed until they fell into an awkward silence. "You see the news?" Dougie asked quietly. "Yeah." "Your mom and dad home?" "Yeah." "Yours?" "Not yet." Silence crackled on the line. Alex swallowed hard and suddenly lump in his throat. "Thanks for calling, Dougie. Talk to you tomorrow." "Yeah, later." Alex hung up the phone and turned off the burners off the stove. "Dinner's ready," he called, and then smiled as Radar came padding in. Alex was about to drop a hot dog on the floor for him, but Radar caught it in midair and hovered it down in one gulp. Then looked expectantly at Alex to see what came next. Radar got 4 more hot dogs that evening, while Alex and Nunu gobbled down their mac and cheese and hot dogs almost as fast as Radar. When they finished their dinner, Alex went to the corner of his napkins to the glass and wiped Nunu's face, just like Mom always did. Then, after dinner, Alex cleaned the pots and plates with a little help from Radar's tongue. While Nunu got her PJs on, Alex figured that she'd put up a fight about bedtime. But Nunu was too tired to argue. She could barely stop yawning long enough to brush her teeth. Alex followed Nunu into the bedroom over her pink bed, and there were dolls lying over the flight line, but he let it go. It didn't seem like such a big deal anymore. Nunu yawned and climbed onto bed. Alex shut off the light and pulled up the covers and tucked her in. Nunu yawned again. "When's Mommy coming home?" "Soon." "And Daddy?" Alex hesitated. "Soon," he replied. "Alex, are you sad?" The question took him by surprise. Nunu was watching him with a serious expression. "I guess I'm still no good at keeping my feelings off my face," he thought. "A little," he answered. "I know. You do?" How could she know? He had tried so hard to protect her from terrifying news that day. Nunu nodded gravely. "Mommy and Daddy forgot your birthday." Alex exhaled a sigh of relief. Nunu frowned. "I'm mad at them." "Don't be mad." "But I am." "Please, Nunu, don't be mad at them." "I'm not." "See, they didn't forget. They're just running late. They'll be here soon, okay?" He pulled the covers up. "Now go to sleep." She kicked them off. "No, I'm not sleepy." Alex laughed. "Yes, you are." "No." "You haven't stopped yawning since we got home." She shook her head and rubbed her eyes. "But it's not bedtime," she pleaded. "But it is," he pleaded. "No," she said firmly. "Come on, Nunu. Just go to sleep." "No, you can't tell me what to do. You're not Daddy." And then she burst into tears and buried her hand in the pillow. "I want Daddy," she wailed. Alex felt totally overwhelmed. He sat on the end of the bed, nervously balancing his leg and holding his ears in frustration. He wanted to run away. He wanted Nunu to stop crying. He wanted his dad to come home. He wanted everything to be back to normal. Then it hit him. That's all Nunu wanted too. Alex remembered what their father always did at bedtime. He closed his eyes and pictured his dad just home from work, sitting at the edge of Nunu's bed, sleeves all wrinkled, white shirt rolled up, his strong hands working their magic as they led Nunu into sleep. Alex opened his eyes and reached out, just like his father, and quietly began to stroke Nunu's head. Nunu shifted in the pillow, unburying her face. Alex continued to brush her hair with his fingers, drawing his hands across her forearm in long, slow strokes, barely touching her, as soft as he were petting a baby bird. Nunu's breathing began to slow. Alex leaned down close to her ear. Then quietly as a whisper, Alex began to sing. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never... He paused, waiting for her to chime in. There was always her favorite part, but Nunu had drifted off. So he sang it for her. No, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Then he bent down and kissed Nunu softly on the head. Chapter 38. Night. 8:31 p.m. Max stood at the kitchen counter waiting for the coffee to brew. It was his fourth pot of the day. The doctors had told him to lay off caffeine, but he figured they'd make an exception for today. He breathed in the steam, thinking back into the first pot of the morning. He pictured Bobby coming into the kitchen, into his crisp white shirt, sleeves unbuttoned, jacket slung over his arm. They drank their coffee in comfortable silence, the way they always did. Mac with sports section, Bobby reading business, and then Bobby, checking his watch, stood up and shrugged on his coat. See you tonight, Pop. And then he was gone. The coffee maker beeped. Mac opened his eyes and poured himself a cup. From behind the counter, he had perfected the view out the window to the corner at the end of the street. Before dementia clouded her mind, Dottie used to sit at the counter, watch for Bobby to come around the corner on his way home from work. Mac used to tease her about her, but the truth is he'd do the same thing, finding excuses to be in the kitchen so he could sneak a peek over her shoulder as he came and went. Mac stared out the window for the 100th time that day, then closed his eyes and tried to conjure that scene. Bobby, coming round the corner, stepping into the yellow glow of the street lamp, the light of his white shirt, like a ray of sunshine. Mac kept his eyes closed, trying to hold on to the image, trying to make it true. Then he realized he was making deals again. He didn't care. Where's Robert? Mac spun around so fast he spilled his coffee. Dottie was standing in her nightgown in the middle of the living room, gazing around with a troubled, quizzical expression. The house had been so quiet. He'd almost forgotten she was back there. Hey there, kiddo, what you doing up? He asked quietly. Dottie turned and looked at him. Mac couldn't tell if she still recognized him or not, but she always allowed him to lead her back down to the hall to the bedroom. He pulled back the covers and helped her swing her legs up into the bed. She still seemed agitated, so she sat with her and stroked her hand, which always calmed her, but not tonight. Where's Robert? She asked again. Mac swallowed hard and looked out the window. He's on his way home.